And sometimes we have to put things down. We have to put away those things that we kind of hide behind so that we can just encounter him as we are,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah, I would say, and just we want people to take it serious. Like there's a lot of lonely people.
Yeah.
People, if you're like something's got to change, you know what I mean?
Right. Because you could cover up the loneliness by posting on Instagram, like, oh, look at me and my 3 friends or whatever it is. And like, but like inside there's like a huge and a serious ache just for like somebody to actually know you.
Right.
Yeah. Like I was talking to somebody, I forgot who it was, but one of the kids and they said like, I'm only real here. Like I'm not real outside because you guys know me, but I'm afraid to be like that's sad, you know? And I think sometimes we could live that way where I hide behind these things. I'm not gonna let anybody else know me because I'm afraid of whatever it is. And even to like, once again, it accentuates the loneliness, accentuates like the different things that we don't want to have a part of our lives, but we don't know how to get out of. And a part of that, the way to getting out of it is just putting them away and allowing the Lord into that place.
Poco a poco vamos a llegar. Somos peregrinos and you know that's who we are.
Hey, I'm Father Mark Mary.
Hey.
Hi, I'm Father Innocent Marie Montgomery.
I'm Father Pierre Toussaint Guiteau.
I'm just not going to use my full name though. This is the Poco Poco podcast.
Oh, this is hey. Why don't you start saying something now? Because I'm not going to talk about myself.
Well, guys, I think I kind of control the conversation. I always say like cool stuff at the beginning.
Wait, hold on. I'm just kidding.
This is where you want to tell the mouse joke.
Yeah,
that now no one has like or the mouse story that has no context now.
And I don't even know like how fun it is or how funny it's going to be. Well, whatever. I'll put myself out there on Front Street. I'm okay with that. We're all friends here. We're family in the podcasting world.
We're touching. Like
I know. I don't
like
this is definitely reaching on uncomfortability for me touching you.
My sitting on this side of the table is really working out.
Yeah, totally.
You're all spread out over there and just
you and your booster seat.
Like doing exercises.
So this is how I do it in the sense of like just eliciting conversation and just inviting,
I'm
responses.
with you.
So have you ever been in a situation where like you just freak out and like the freak out is sometimes disproportionate to actually the reality of the thing itself?
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting in the library today during meditation hour and just praying. Eyes are closed. I'm connecting on a deep level with the Father, you know. At least I think that's what's happening.
That's the place where you're living now.
At least that's what I think what's happening. Reality, externally, with my cup of coffee in my hand and spilled a little on my habit. But what was funny was I hear these footsteps come up and down the stairs. And our friaries, the library is right next to the stairwell. And there's only one stairwell in the friary. And so up the stairs, down the stairs, like a good like 4 or 5 times. And like now internally I'm moved, but not like to prayer, but like to anger. Like who the heck is like running around? I get all Father Mark Mary on the inside, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Just like, come on, man. Like it's quiet time. Be quiet. Respectful silence.
Yeah.
And so,
righteous anger.
And so I actually, not to approach his brother, but I said, hey, later on the day, I said, hey, how's everything going? He goes, yeah, it's okay. I was like, there's a lot of movement going on, huh? Because anyway, living in community, you could recognize footsteps and footfalls because of like different cadences of walks and stuff like that. And so I knew it was him. Yeah. And there's only like 3 of us in the house besides that. And he tells me this story of, he's like, yeah, when I was sleeping, I heard this like rustling by my head and it was a mouse and I couldn't just, I couldn't fall asleep. And so he said he had a flashlight and was like playing flashlight tag with the mouse because like the mouse was like running one place and he'd get it there and then like he'd run the other place. And it's all like he's trying to sleep in the middle of the night. And so one thing was amazing in the story. He says to me, he goes, you know what? I was just praying that it was a roach. I was like, wait, what? Like, hold on. What do you mean you're praying it was a roach? He says, yeah, because like I think at this point, just like a roach, like be in my room because it's not going to run over me. And the roach is going to kind of be generally afraid of me. I was like, nah, man, I'm praying that it's neither of those things. But then the beautiful thing is that, so during meditation hour, so night full of just angst and like, where's this mouse or whatever's happening. He goes to meditation hour, or at least to office readings. And he prays a simple prayer to the Lord because he goes downstairs during the middle of the night, gets a glue trap, have a heart trap, and he puts it by by whatever the place he thinks the mouse is at. And so he says, Lord, I just want to pray. I'm tired. It's been a long night. So please just do something about the mouse. Goes back upstairs. Mouse is on the glue trap.
Yeah, God.
And then he drowns the mouse.
He drowned it.
That's not having a heart.
That's not having a
Super
heart.
Friends is good.
So wait, hold on. So, because the cell is not big.
Mm-hmm.
So there was the mouse crawling in the evening
Mm-hmm.
and he couldn't find it?
No, because like it kept going into like behind crevices and different things like
that's
that.
what it
And
does.
So
So,
interesting.
yeah. And like he had the flashlight out. He's trying to like scare it out of places, but yeah.
Can I add to the conversation or would that be like not staying in my lane?
Yeah, I mean, yours allowed. I have something to add.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
But
Please
Father Mark
lead.
Mary-
Please lead. Please go ahead.
I just want to tell a funny mouse story. Like, it's funny what you do on solitude,
Right.
because sometimes 8 days by yourself, silence, no other human person in contact, right? So I'm sitting in the chapel. I'm like in that father place, like you were talking
Yeah,
about, like,
yeah.
and it just
It's a beautiful
loving
place.
my father and
Yeah.
letting him love me. But I heard something like, I was in one of the hermitages in Monticello, like in the middle of the woods. So like it's common to have mice all around, you know? And so I left my like, I don't know, like a granola bar sitting out or something. And so a mouse was eating it. And so it's just funny, like no human contact. I start talking to the mouse. I'm like, my man, but the mouse, I like, this is not going to work. Like you're distracting me. Seriously. Like, and I'm like, that's my stuff right there. That's like, that's so anyway. So he gets scared. I put a trap out and then I go back to the chapel. 5 minutes later, whap.
No.
And then I went up like, I told you, like, bro, I said it didn't have to be like this.
You got all Bronx on it.
Like,
That's what you get for eating my stuff.
I was like, I told you, like, it didn't have to be like this. I told you, I asked you not to take my stuff.
Did you leave him outside as an example to his friends?
I didn't know. I
you
threw
come
it
in
outside
here?
because I cannot handle, like, I just can't deal with this right now.
Oh.
So, and he was kind of a big guy, but I was
He
like,
was fat.
yeah,
eating all your stuff.
it's like in my heart, I was like, it didn't have to be like this.
Right,
I
right.
told you, like, to leave my stuff alone. And so I threw it outside, and it sat outside the whole week, and I laughed every time I walked by.
One of my
It didn't have to
favorite
be like that.
one of my favorite friar experiences is like it happens at the dinner table. It's happening right now. Is a topic is brought up,
Yeah.
and if you have a certain number of friars, there's like story after story. Like there's just stories that kind of connect to everything. So if you want to go down the rat and mouse story game,
Yeah.
like we can go
we
down
got
there.
it.
We can go roaches.
Right. Oh man, I hate them.
Which I'm gonna share one. I'm gonna contribute one story.
That's
You
fine.
want-
You're very.
Would you like a
okay? Are you
mouse?
okay with that?
I'm perfectly okay.
Would you like the mouse story or the roach story?
I want whichever one brings you the most
No,
joy.
I need help with this.
Let's do the mouse story because
Okay,
it
thank
just
you.
like there's a continuity. You don't always have to be different. Like kind of
You're unique.
differentiate
and we
yourself.
reverence, differentiate yourself. You're unique, and we reverence that, and we love you for
We're
it.
trying point guard out over here. This is good. We're like trying to animate you. But let's go to the mouse story.
Please.
Honduras. Honduras, we had a pig for a while. I'm living there as a friar. We had a pig for a while. And the pig's great insofar as like all the food that's going bad or whatever, you can always give to the pig and it eats the food. One of the things that's not so good is that, I don't know if this is what pigs always do, but in this circumstance, it attracted a lot of like mice. And
Yeah.
they just were they were just everywhere. And there was a ton of mice. And one of our priests in particular was not fond of the mice. And so he like waged war on them. And one of the like there's like a poison you can give them that I think it's supposed to make like dehydrate them.
Oh, no.
And so the reason that it's supposed to dehydrate them,
Oh no, that was my reaction.
the reason it's supposed to dehydrate them, according to my understanding, is so that they go seeking water, so they don't like die in your house, and so you don't have like all these dead.
That's well thought out. That's like a plan.
Genius.
That's my understanding of how this works. I haven't.
Someone Google this and let us know.
Many people already know this, I'm sure. Probably a lot of people know this. But this particular friar he had killed at this point about 50 because he was keeping track. He had a BB gun. It was this whole thing.
He was the Rambo of mice.
We even have multiple BB gun and rat stories. Like
That's happened here in Harlem.
Yeah.
From the window, people just taking out rats and mice. Not that's like a common
American
problem.
Sniper with the rats. You know.
So what happened?
At one point, so he's like, this is his thing. And at one point, it was very funny because it was like one of the mice died above his room. Just his room. Whole house, all these other guys, it died directly above his room. I apologize. This is more than some people want. But as it was decomposing, it was going through the cracks in the ceiling into his room, and just he got really sick. Father Gabriel Emanuel wrote a song about
Of course.
What was it?
He would write a song.
Oh man, it was like dead rats are in my clothes. Because there's like falling like this. He had this whole song about the dead rats, and the father was like dry heaving.
Oh,
it was
man.
not good. But
Yeah.
they got back at him. They said, "You're gonna kill
Hey,
all
listen.
of us. We're gonna die in your roof."
Yeah,
Yeah. There's something deep right there. There's something.
that's it. But it's real. Like they're not good.
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah. Anyway, they don't belong in houses. How about that?
Let's go there. Let's say that.
St. Francis didn't like mice. I don't think, right?
And flies.
And flies. Both of them.
I don't know about mice.
Because remember when he's sick at the end of his life, he's like laying on the ground and like mice are crawling over him.
Yeah.
No, who likes that? Like, I'm
No
sorry.
one's
St.
gonna like
Francis.
that. No one's gonna like that. But is it okay? I mean, to be honest, like whenever I've only seen one twice in my 2 hermitages. One, two different times.
Wait, you've
And I
only
named-
seen mice twice?
No. Sorry, on my hermitage, it just
Okay.
happened twice.
Okay.
And I named it.
Before you killed it?
Yeah,
Wow.
Would you name it?
Seamus.
Same name twice?
Yes, I know.
Wow.
It's always it's always Seamus. One was like on my pillow once in the farm.
Seamus.
And I walked up. I was getting ready to go to bed, and I had my little lantern. It was like, and Seamus was sitting there. It was really cute. No, actually, I didn't kill Seamus. But he was sitting on my pillow, and he had these eyes and these ears, and he was just sitting there. Like, and I was like this close to him, and I was like, Seamus, like there's not room for both of us here, bro. You gotta go. And he just like stood there and looked at me, and I'd like shove him off. So we were friends, but the other Seamus,
The other Seamus? Now, what was the difference in response, at least to the other Seamus? Like, what did he do to get you going? Because the fact that he ate your food, or?
yeah, I mean, he's eating my food, and that's
Okay.
that's kind of nasty. As
Okay.
if sleeping on a mouse sitting on your pillow would
I
not
mean,
be nasty. But like, it was just,
Could have done other stuff on your pillow, you know what I'm saying? Keep it PG here, but, you know.
I think we're ready to hand the ball back to Father Mark Mary, but
You don't like me driving the show?
no, I do think it's good. I was just saying, like, me naming my mouse, I think that's all I want to say about my pet, my
Your pet house?
pet mouse named Seamus.
You know why we have these kind of stories?
Why?
Because we live life.
Yeah, we live life.
And I do, this is what we're talking about today is simplicity. And one of the components of not sort of particularly simplicity in the area of just entertainment is right. Like you don't have to just be consuming other people's stories. You're actually like creating your own story just because you're living life and you're checked in. And when you're really doing it, particularly I think like with community, with some of the adventure, with mission, like just stuff happens. So you got stories. You got stories for days.
I like it.
So as we're going to the next chapter. So in kind of following habits for holiness, right? We've talked about renewal. We've talked about conversion. We've talked about kind of hope. We talked about prayer. We talked about community. We talked about the like sort of living liturgically. So what we're going to start going into now is this kind of like an invitation into and application of gospel simplicity, of Christian simplicity. For us, it's a vow of poverty. For the laity, though, I do believe they're still called to a simplicity. And the key for this is I'm like the worst insofar as I realized I haven't done like my 2 plugs that I'm supposed to do every time. So I'm here talking about simplicity, and I'm like, I forgot to ask for donations or to get the book.
Because we live simply, we need donations.
Yeah. So if you want to support us,
Nice little wink there. You couldn't catch that on if you're listening, but he winked. It was smooth.
yeah.
You can bring it around.
Yeah.
I like it.
I apologize for this interruption. If you would like, this is like a good commercial. Like you like
No, we're from our sponsor.
cliffhanger. If you'd like to support the podcast, spiritjuice.org/pocopoco. Particularly, maybe if you can discern a small monthly gift, that'd be helpful. Or if you want to get the book and kind of follow along and apply, kind of go into more detail, deep dive, hear less stories about mice and rats, and Father Innocent being a killer of animals, ascensionpress.com/holiness. And welcome back to the program.
Simplicity.
Simplicity, particularly in this one, at the service of intimacy, right? Like leaning into the freedom of simplicity at the service of intimacy, at the service of prayer. Because here's the deal: if you have stuff, like there's a burden of stuff, and the more stuff you have, the more time you have to spend taking care of the stuff, more time you have to spend using the stuff, more time you have to spend buying the stuff. And at a certain point, we want to lean into prioritizing prayer, prioritizing relationship, and then kind of like, okay, well, am I chasing all this stuff and actually hurting myself and the relationships which I'm really made for?
Yeah.
Right.
The word that comes to mind.
Go ahead, Father.
Rat killer, max killer.
Sorry, I opened my
shameless
mouth.
killer,
I opened my
shameless
mouth
killer.
and you breathe, and I'm like, oh, I'm already talking. I'm sorry.
I'll just stop breathing.
Just the word I want to throw out there is attachment. We have to just be real about attachment that whether you like it or not, our humanity's into this, right? In our weakness, our humanity's into attachment. So that can be for the good or the bad or the healthy or the not healthy, right? For some reason, the way our humanity works and the way our hearts work and our minds work is that we can get attached emotionally, psychologically, relationally, right? We can get attached to stuff, right? And again, they can serve us or not serve us or be at the service of humanity or rob us of our humanity. I think that makes sense. But it's just like a good examination. Like, what are we attached to? What do we spend our time doing?
Right.
We only have so much spiritual energy throughout the day. We only have so much emotional, psychological energy throughout the day. So the good question is like, what am I attached to? What do I spend my time doing? And I don't pretend to have a profound answer to that right now, but I do think the word attachment can come in here because the gift of simplicity or the grace of simplicity helps us recognize that we do have to let go of things to create the right space, the proper space for this relationship with God and with other people to happen.
Yeah.
You can breathe now and
Thank you. Been holding my breath the whole time. But yeah, just once again, that word of intimacy moved me, like as far as simplicity at the service of intimacy. Is that how you said it?
Yeah.
Good. And like we could just be trapped or at least think that it's about stuff, but it's not about stuff. Like even the things that we hold on to, the things that we have in our lives, like spiritually or whatever it is, like once again, like this is a truth that I'm just continuing to grow into, but like the Lord just wants your heart. Like he just wants you. He doesn't want the things that are external to you. He just wants you. And just like it's the lilies in the field. Look at how they're clothed, and they don't even wake up in the morning and feel, like whatever, have to pick out their nicest dress. But the Father's going to take care of them. The sparrows, that isn't he concerned about them? The Father's concerned about you, and he wants your heart. And sometimes we could allow things, once again, whether it's like emotional, spiritual, whatever it is, or physical things to occupy that space that rightly belongs to God, and even like in real relationships, not to say that relationship with God isn't real, but like, friends and stuff like that. The more you want to spend time with them, the more you give time over to them, the less you're going to have time for other things. And you say that this is an important relationship in my life. Therefore, I'm going to put my phone aside. I'm going to focus on this person, what they're saying. Or I'm going to not do these other things because I want to spend more time with this person. And can that be the same thing with God? Can we actually give him the time and space by being less cluttered in our thoughts or less cluttered in our just a way of approaching life, to be more simple with him, just by sitting with him and, if you will, wasting time with him, because that's what he desires. It's in the simplicity that we actually are given this opportunity to experience him in this beautiful and in this deep way that couldn't happen if we weren't simple, if we didn't approach life that way. So,
and I think a gospel passage which we want to kind of look at is right the calling of the rich young man, particularly in Mark's gospel, right? And so this is where the rich young man, he comes to Jesus, like, what do I need to do? And he's like, and he says like, okay, do X, Y, and Z. And he's like, I've been doing that. And then, right, Jesus looks upon him and loves him and says, if you wish to be perfect, go sell everything, give it to the poor, come follow me. And again, like this is, again, like we've talked about it before, but this Christian detachment isn't just this strict like detachment jumping into like this abyss, right? We're actually always attaching to, but it's just a Christian attachment is the attachment to a higher good. And this, but like Jesus saying, like, attach yourself to me, attach yourself to my love, attach yourself, like receive the invitation to intimacy with me, to leaving these things behind because they hold you back. And if you will, like, if you have to take care of all of this stuff, like, I want you to come on this journey with me, and you're not going to be able to do it if you have to feed your oxen or whatever. And so it's like, look at me, receive the grace of this invitation to intimacy, attach to that, and then take the risk. And so I do think that's the invitation for our listeners is, again, like in prayer, to invite the Lord to see, like, hey, Lord, are you to receive the gift of the Lord, looking at them with love and saying, hey, if you like, come follow me.
Right.
Like let's leave a few things behind and come follow me, and don't go away sad. Like nobody wants to be the rich young man who went away sad,
Right.
but most of us are living that way.
It's like, it's frustrating, right? Like, I'm sure we've all been in situations, our listeners have been in situations too, where you're trying to connect with the person, but they're into their cell phone. Like they're just looking at whatever it is, they're scrolling through stuff, and it's like, just look up and look at me. You know, like when we're talking, just like, hey, put that down, you know, And so I think sometimes it's the same thing for us and the Lord. Like we're just preoccupied on this other thing that we're attached to, that we're saying, even though we don't realize it, that this is more important than the relationship that I have with you right now. And we don't want to be in that place. And so, and this is going off of what you're talking about earlier, where, we're able to live life and just to kind of be in this place of experiencing things and having them as memories and stories and stuff. And I get this all the time from my family or just different people, like, why don't you guys have cell phones? Like it would be a lot easier to get in contact with you if you had a cell phone, or maybe you could return phone calls more often if you had a cell phone, or you wouldn't be such a bum if you had a cell phone, type of thing. And the reason I love not having a cell phone is because now I'm available in a different way to the Lord. But even more so, like life happens differently when you don't have a cell phone. For example, right? We're in Chicago, you and me trying to get our connecting flight. Remember we slept on the floor in the airport.
Yeah.
And I mean, we had to like scrounge around like money, like from my bag and from like your pockets to like go make a phone call on the payphone. And anyway, it was like one of these things like, life would have been a lot easier if we had a cell phone, but that allowed us to experience just the providence of God the Father, but even more so, just like, it's just an experience where we're loved and we could feel loved from the Father because we didn't have that small thing. We weren't attached to that thing, So,
and I don't think we're going to invite people necessarily to not have cell phones, because I don't know that you can get whatever it's called, just a normal phone, a flip phone. But I do think, like, I remember that because people, when we're traveling and people are picking me up, they get uncomfortable with the fact that I don't have a cell phone.
They can't contact you.
So it's like, nice one. So how am I going to find you? How am I going to reach you? How am I going to do this stuff? So it is kind of funny because people often get a little bit anxious about it. Like I've done this before. We'll be all right. Like, but I found myself often, I do it when driving to a directions, not having a GPS, but I'll do it with, like when I get off the plane is regularly, I'm like, okay, Lord, if you can help us like make this connection, if you can help them find me, I just kind of trust this time to you. Like, actually, I literally pray and ask God's help in finding this person. Because I don't have a cell phone, I can't just call them.
Right.
And so part of not having that phone creates this place of dependence, which actually leads me to like, okay, Lord, I'm going to need you to, I don't have a cell phone for you. Like, I'm going to need you to help work out the details. Right.
And just the point was that just detaching from something that could prevent you from encountering the Lord. I definitely don't think that like, hey, nobody have a cell phone, please. Yeah. Obviously it's a real necessity for people. So,
But I do have new wealth, internet. I got that written down in the notes.
What you just said words right now, like the
new wealth internet.
Yeah, the new wealth. Right. So there's this whole thing, like if you're a rich person, you're not gonna it's gonna be hard. It's hard for a camel to go through the eye of a needle for you to enter the kingdom of God. Right. Often when we think about wealth, we kind of talk about strictly on the strictly money. Like, you got a lot of money in your bank or no? But I think with the advent and the proliferation of smartphones, we're all kind of a bunch of there's a huge wealth in entertainment. There's a huge wealth in there's this weird new wealth that we often don't categorize as that. And because we hear this conversation that the Lord's challenging people that wealth, there's some dangers with having a lot of material wealth. But hey, there's a lot of dangers of having this, the wealth that the cell phone has you, where there's always something easier and more entertaining to do than prayer. There's always something to look at. There's always something to distract yourself. There's always a way to sort of escape engaging another person. And my invitation to people really is in the area of simplicity. There's a lot of places to go. And I think that if you want to go to the book to really kind of get into some of the different levels of it, but to explore whether or not, if you will, the wealth that a cell phone offers you and the smartphone offers you is it's an obstacle to your intimacy with the Lord and other people.
I like that. I mean, and it's real. And the word that comes to mind as you talk about that is that if we take that seriously and this new wealth or what occupies us and fills us, if we take the simplicity and this kind of emptiness or this letting go seriously, I think it offers a new type of presence. And it's like an incarnational presence. we make space for the Lord, and then like, whoa, like my prayer changes, or like I'm present in a new way to my spouse or my kids, or I remember this. This is a story Father Angelus tells, and we missed you, Father Angelus. We love you.
Yeah.
He's with Net. Where is he?
He's at preschool now.
Preschool.
Not like priest camp, and not preschool. Like in.
I mean, he should technically be in preschool also.
He's gonna come back all Father PT, living in the contemplative gaze of the
Just
Father
like
at all times.
Come on,
That's where you have to stay.
right there.
Right there.
See, you get it, bro.
Oh my gosh.
So he tells a story about a young man on a vacation visit here. And again, I would say he was entering into our life and kind of being disconnected from his phone and kind of the culture. And he was just like eating this up, the schedule, the prayer, the brothers, and the simplicity. I would say the simplicity, like our life's kind of intense, but I don't think it's complicated.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like we had a parents visit recently and they're like, all you guys do is just like pray and eat and pray and hang out, pray and serve the poor, like pray and eat. Like it's not complicated. So there's a simplicity in just about our life. And this young man, we had dinner, we said the closing prayer. Father Angelus like, hey, can you come help me take the trash out? And so he was taking out the trash and with Father Angelus, and they were talking and laughing. And the guy just like started crying. He's like, I just didn't know it was possible to live this way.
Mm.
He's like taking out that trash. Like Father Angelus is like, this guy's moved by just this beautiful simplicity of life of being present and not distracted and not consumed by the culture, consumed by technology. There's something authentic about it.
Right.
Like he's like, whoa, this is feeding my soul. And I'm like taking out the trash. And he's like, I didn't know it was possible to live this way. Right. So I think it gets at the heart of like when we create a space for this holy simplicity of life, you encounter it and there's a presence in a new way where things start to have to be magnified in meaning.
Right.
And it could just be something small, like taking out the trash with a brother. And there's suddenly a lot of joy in your heart. Like, wow, what's that mean?
Yeah.
Right. I think it's what we're trying to get at.
Yeah, because it creates a space, right? A space of encounter, a space of like being able to once again see the more important things. And not to say that sometimes the things that we get into aren't important, but yeah, just this is where the Lord desires to meet us exactly as we are, not like as we want to be or as we hope to be, but just exactly as we are. And sometimes we have to put things down. We have to put away those things that we kind of hide behind so that we can just encounter him as we are, you know?
Yeah, I'd say, and just we want people to take it serious. Like there's a lot of lonely people.
Yeah.
People, if you're like something's got to change, you know what I mean?
Right. Because you could cover up the loneliness by posting on Instagram, like, oh, look at me and my 3 friends or whatever it is. And like, but like inside there's like a huge and a serious ache just for like somebody to actually know you.
Right.
Yeah. Like I was talking to somebody, I forgot who it was, but one of the kids, and they said like, I'm only real here. Like I'm not real outside because you guys know me, but I'm afraid to be. Like that's sad, you know? And I think sometimes we could live that way where I hide behind these things. I'm not gonna let anybody else know me because I'm afraid of whatever it is. And even to like, once again, it accentuates the loneliness, accentuates like the different things that we don't want to have a part of our lives, but we don't know how to get out of. And a part of that, the way to getting out of it is just putting them away and allowing the Lord into that place. Like, Lord, I'm lonely. Like, be with me, please. Like, Father, speak your love into my life right now. I need it, you know? And it's something that the Lord desires to be there specifically in that ache and that hurt. And it won't happen if, once again, we're hiding behind these things that we hold on to.
And I love that because the answer is not more stuff.
Right.
The answer is like not consuming more of my time. And that's hard because it's a poverty simplicity question, I think.
Right.
Is that, no. The answer is not out there, not grasping. It's usually letting go. So I stop hiding and can face the Lord and face myself, right? That's the real thing.
Right.
Can we let go? So it's actually a pretty incredible invitation because it's exhausting to try to grasp and to fix and to find yourself. We're actually asking, I think the answer is to let go, stop hiding. And then you create this holy space of presence where like, okay, like just take a deep breath.
Right. Right.
And I love it.
And it's like one of these things, like sometimes like things appear complicated, right? Like things are like, oh my gosh, I have to do all this mental gymnastics. It's because probably they are. Because they probably are complicated. And who complicated it? Like oftentimes it's us who complicate things. Like, and not to talk bad about like different spiritual like exercises or different things, but like sometimes we think like this is the next thing, or you look at it with diets or fads, like this next thing is going to help me and I have to do all these different steps or whatever it is to be healthy or to be holy or to be, when like maybe the answer is just simple. Like, hey, just stop eating junk food or get to bed on time or, you know, whatever it is. And
stop drinking coffee.
Yeah. Shots fired. it's one of these things where like, yeah, maybe the Lord just wants you to put these things away and just be with him.
Mhm.
You know, like you don't have to like search for all these different things. And not to say that those things are bad. Those things have a time and place. Those things can oftentimes lead people to a place of intimacy that are different than other ways. But I think oftentimes the answer is if it seems complicated, it probably is complicated. And to uncomplicate things by just being with him and allowing yourself to encounter his love.
Yeah, amen. You have a piece. Have you seen Father PT's glitter? You have some glitter on your face that keeps.
I'm not gonna.
No, I'm not
show
gonna do
you.
anything. Don't touch my face. Please don't attempt to remove the glitter from my face.
Yeah, I was like, there was everything. You're like, no, I'm not gonna touch
If you want to hear more about Father PT not liking his face be touched, there's an episode about that.
Is there?
Remember? Because that's like the father, what's his name? Who touches your face. And you're like, don't touch my face.
Yeah.
don't touch
It's
my
true.
face.
I mean, it's like, it's personal. We'll touch people's faces.
Bro, you have glitter on your face and just
All
saying.
right, let's move past it.
So here's the little phrase that came to mind.
Come on.
The best things in life are not achieved, they're received.
Did you just make that up?
Bro,
now?
come on, bro.
I mean, I'm sure
That's totally you.
1,000 people have
I know,
made
but
that up
that's
before.
totally you.
But this is, I think, because as you were talking, and it really is the same. It's like we're creating space for receptivity,
Right.
and so like the achieving, the doing this kind of stuff out there, like the best stuff in life, I really do believe is received, and so it's the work that we're doing is the work of creating the space to receive, if you will, the gaze of the Father, right? To allow the Lord to look at me, to allow other people to look at me, and so I do think it's cultivating a receptive disposition and a receptive environment. That's why we live simplicity. And again, the fruit of that is the intimacy that we're all made for.
I like that. That was a Steph Curry hit a three from like 10 feet behind the line on two people. That's what that moment was for me. Like,
Thank
wow,
you.
that just happened.
Thank you.
Yeah. So
that really brought that home.
We're gonna. I think we're gonna bring it in for a landing. I almost reached out to you because Steph, I forgot what game it was the other day.
He scored 23 points in the third quarter.
No, it was first half. It was the shots that he was hitting in the first half.
Yeah.
Were insane.
Are they doing better at all?
They are in the play-in game and with I think the 10th seed. So
Yeah, so they're right on the edge. But for a minute, Curry's just doing unbelievable things. And like the stat line is kind of misleading because you'll see it's like whatever. Sometimes it's like whatever, 6 or 12 for threes. But then you look at the difficulty of his shots and it's like every one of those shots was unbelievably difficult.
it was the fourth quarter of a game. If it's the same thing you're referencing. And yeah, there was, I think he just went off on like 4 or 5 straight threes and it was just ridiculous. And yeah, him and Damian Lillard are doing things that are just absolutely
Brand new.
crazy.
So the moment you just said was like, I'm just bringing it back.
Yeah.
You felt it. You felt it.
It was like, I'm sure we've seen these things, whether it be in sports or just like in life, like a mother just like gracefully handles 6 kids and like just quiet, whatever it is. Like, wow, that's real. And she's really good at that, or he's really good at that. Like, this is an amazing thing. And that's what that kind of stirred up in my heart.
You're really good at this.
By the way, there was a multiple year phase in my life where I didn't watch any sports or basketball as a religious. And I didn't miss it at all.
Right.
So,
Simple, bro.
Yeah,
Simple.
so if that's the thing that distracts you, then maybe that's one thing to step away from too.
How about
You're looking at me.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at you.
No, he's looking at me. And
Are
yes,
those accusing eyes?
they are accusing eyes. I mean, I
just
love,
do what
I'll
the
say,
Father, bro.
I'll
Just
say it
do what
here.
the Father,
I love
bro.
sports. And I don't, like, I do notice that maybe at times I spend more time keeping up with the Joneses. I'm a big Knicks fan and we're in 4th seed right now. And so like, that's kind of occupying a space in my heart. But here's my little story. Last Lent or 2 Lents ago, 2020 Lent, I gave up sports. I said, I'm not listening or watching or doing anything as far as like sports. And then what happened? The pandemic happened. And so like sports were canceled for the first time in history. And it's almost like Lord saying, hey, like, okay, you don't have to go with sports because then like now I'm gonna have to stop sports in general. So I don't want to be the one that causes another like further,
Yeah, I get it.
you know, like catastrophe to happen in the world.
You think if you give up sports, that all sports are going to be canceled again?
Basically, that's what I'm saying. You know, and so like out of generosity for humanity and just like everybody else in the world, I'm
You're
gonna
amazing.
continue just supporting my teams and just being a sports guy.
Just
So.
being
I would love
Faithful.
to ask Dr. Veronica about a definition of narcissism and some ways in which that might express itself.
Oh,
it's
man.
okay, bro. It's all right.
No comment. No
That was
comment.
a joke.
Was it? Was it?
I'm probably gonna get in trouble for being mean to you again. I get
Oh yeah,
I get in
we
trouble
have
on
a
occasion.
threshold. Sometimes we pass it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We have a mean meter, you know, like the
We
applause
should have
meter.
a mean
The applause
meter.
meter at the.
Well, our listeners have a mean meter, and sometimes we cross over it.
Okay.
We apologize. That's not the point.
Yeah.
That's not the point. I apologize.
I mean, okay, not to give credence or like, hey, let's be mean to each other, but I think this is out of a place of love. Like we honestly,
Yeah,
the reason we
like
can be mean
hanging
is
out.
because we love each other.
It's not mean for
Like,
the record.
It's just being guys.
right? It's not like
Yeah.
anyway. It's not like you think that I think you're not a nice person because I say not nice things about you, but
No,
you know that I love you deeply, both of you guys.
This is
Yeah,
your love
same.
language.
Not-
This is your love
Not,
language.
not Father Angelus. You see, I had to be mean there.
Same.
I miss Father Angelus. He's for the underdog. He's like for that guy, you know?
I was at Franciscan. I did have one young lady say, "Be nice to Father Angelus."
Hmm.
You guys shout outs?
I don't. Do you want me to?
No, I had to
Okay.
like write mine down.
Well, that's great. I'm glad you do.
I think today I'm going to shout out. I was with the Benzingers and some of their old missionaries. I was down there for a wedding. So Annie and JP, congratulations. But there's a lot of really good people out there. I don't know if I want to name names because I don't want to leave anybody out.
Yeah, but all those peeps.
All those peeps. But I became friends. I'm a friend now with a psychologist. First psychologist friend I've had. Feels pretty good.
Is that your just way of saying like, are you going to the psychologist? Are you just friends? Or-
No.
Should we talk about this
I
off?
could, but I don't have a problem with that. But I'm not. But I could. Oh, and I met a girl named Ann at the coffee shop with Matt Frad. She was a nice person.
Nice. You were on Matt Fred. Praise
I
God.
was with
That's
Matt.
awesome.
Who else? Gabe and Bob. Those that Bob lifts. I don't know his last name.
Bob Lifsevsky or something like that?
Yeah. He's cool.
I don't know.
He's a cool dude. He's he's friends with Cree and
Vagabond Ministries.
Just had Cree. Cree listened.
Hey Cree.
Cree. Sorry.
Hannah
cut you
G.
off.
Hannah, sister of Gabe. What's up?
Okay. Cree Pena, Emmanuel Pena. What's up? Love you guys. Also to the Belelos, specifically Larry and Evelyn Belelo,
Nice.
who was there recently. Shout out to Jessica Belelo. She listens to the podcast.
Hey Jessica.
She said that she regularly listens to us. And so, hi, Jess.
You know who I'm going to shout out? Mary Lou, little Mary Lou from IPF.
Mary Lou Schuster.
Spiritual mother. She's
sweet.
amazing.
Oh, man.
She's like the sweetest, most holy lady I've ever met. Mary Lou, she likes us.
Trying to think of any listeners. Caitlin listens. Caitlin used to work in Cambodia with trafficking people. Now she's a counselor working with people in addiction.
Awesome.
There's just
So many incredible people.
studs out there.
And shout out to all brother priests who attended IPF Section A, who were there. And so,
Priest camp.
priest camp.
I want to shout out our cameraman, Chris. He's
Hey,
awesome.
Chris.
We like him a lot. He has to hang out with us. It is just like the same thing all the time. He comes to our friary and hangs out. He's awesome.
And thanks, Spirit Juice. Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Vicky.
If you'd like to support the podcast, help making this possible, you could go, if you'd like to start with simplicity by giving away some of your stuff. spiritjuice.org/poco. And you can get the book and kind of keep going deeper at ascensionpress.com/holiness.
Awesome.
Give the people a blessing, Father Mark
Father,
Mary.
Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Jesus, I love you. And I ask for your help to be more receptive. And whatever it is in my life, whatever the wealth is that I could cling to, I just give you permission to free me and to create more space in my heart and my life for you. And I pray for this grace for Father Innocent, for Father PT, for Chris, for all of our listeners. We just ask, Lord, for open hands and that we may receive the grace to receive the fullness of life that you want to bestow upon us, and give us prudence and wisdom as we make decisions, seeking this holy simplicity at the service of a so life-changing and overflowing intimacy. And we make this prayer in the name of Jesus the Lord. Amen. Father,
Amen.
Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. Goodbye, everybody.
Thanks for listening.
Don't play with glitter. It might get on your face and then be
Father PT,
distracting during the podcast.
You have glitter on your face.
Thank you. We love you guys.
Go Stella. Viva.
Go Seamus.
Poco a poco.
Vamos a llegar.
Poor Seamus.
Poco a poco vamos a llegar. Somos peregrinos and you know that's who we are. We make our way. Hey, hey. Little by little we learn a little more each day that God is love, that life is short, that all will be well. And I know